There we go, recording live.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping in. We have an amazing show for you today with an amazing guest. Our guest is the keeper of ancient Andean wisdom, co-founder of Children of the Seven Rays, and is the world-renowned spiritual teacher and guide, best known for his heart-centered and humble approach to healing and spirituality. Please welcome our good friend, Jhaimy Alvarez-Acosta. Jhaimy, how are you doing today? It's so good to see you, brother.
Thank you, my bro. I am really happy. Thank you for letting me be with you guys. I really enjoy to be here, and ready to share and to connect and to express a little bit,
It's really special. Jhaimy's a very special friend, and his whole family is, and we're just so fortunate to have you here today. But before we start, we like to, I don't want to embarrass people, but we have a little game that we play, and I call it Two Truths and a Lie. So Jhaimy has sent us over a couple of little points, and I'm going to read them out, and Devin and I are going to have to guess which one is the lie. Okay. So ready, Dev?
Yep.
Okay, number one. I went bungee jumping off a bridge over the Apurimac River in Peru and almost passed out halfway down. Yeah, nice. I can see that for sure. Number two. I attempted to climb a glacier high in the Andes in only my jeans and running shoes. Number three. Number three. I saw a UFO fly over my head while on an island in the middle of Lake Titicaca, Peru.
Oh my gosh.
I think all of them.
So good. Okay. All right. Here we go. So I'm going with the second one I believe is true. The third one I believe is true. I think the first one is a lie because you didn't pass out half of the way down. It's a little play on words. I don't know. I'm going with that one. Nigel, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm looking at this going. I think the bungee as well. I think I've seen you do some crazy things, and I don't know if that would scare you. I mean, I got stuck up in Machu Picchu off the on the way to the Inca Bridge, and I get vertigo, and I got stuck to the wall, and Devin's brother Dylan and Reiko had to guide me back down. But I don't think, Jhaimy, that bugs you that much. So I have to say that one. So I don't know, Jhaimy, what
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to throw in. Sorry, go ahead.
I it's one of my trips with my brother into the Apurimac River. And in the end, we arrived to this huge bridge, and the people just jumping. And I go with these guys, and I look this guy, really strong. He goes, "I'm sure I go." And he jumping, and just down, he passed out.
Oh,
we moving him out, and he's like,
no way.
So I say, you go next. No, I don't do it. I go back home. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's crazy. And the other part of the going to the mountains.
Yeah.
I traveled this time in Huaraz, and the people climbing. There is people training to climbing glaciers.
Yes.
And I traveled with 2-3 friends from the States. And this guy say to me, a girl say to me, "Hey, Jimmy, I already came here, and I like to visit one lake that is in one of the mountain." So we take a taxi and say, "Okay, let's go. I accompany you. Let's go." And we go with the taxi, And the taxi say, "Hey, waiting for us, sir, but where are you going?" "We go here just to the lake." "The lake? This is a glacier, sir." Say, no. She say it's just a lake. Okay. So we beginning to walk. I never come the lake. We never see the lake. We continue walking and walking. And in one moment, I am in the middle of this like snow and the glacier,
Whoa.
and I am with my jeans, and I feel beginning to feel really cold, and my running shoes that is free, So climbing, and I say, Princess, you are sure that is it? Yeah, I can hear. Well, of course, with a little of equipment, but it's just here. Of course. We continue walking, and it's like 5 hours already walking. And my and in this moment we see these guys and say, hey, you know where you are? Say coming with all the equipment and things. Say, you're in the middle of the glacier. You need to calm down. If you continue there, you don't have the equipment, you don't have the experience, you're going to die. So I said, Princess, where are you going? No, I said, like, no, this is in another mountain. The guy explained to her, he said, we come back and all the things that he's freezing in the car, So, wow.
It was the wrong.
And thanks God the taxi driving is waiting for us there. And and it's at night when we go like really in the morning and we came back at night. And it's crazy.
Holy smokes. Oh my God.
So yeah, you have a fascinating history, and how do you pronounce? Is it curandero or is it curandero? Curandero shaman.
We're talking about two things. One is healer.
Healer, yes.
There is like a curandero.
Curandero.
And also we say to this part hampek.
Hampek.
Yeah, in my native language, hampek.
Right.
Yeah.
So from a very young age, did you start practicing, or how did you know that this was your path?
It's you never know.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the life push you into this reality.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that one time somebody asked a question to me, what inspired you to be part of this or to walking in this spiritual path?
Mm-hmm.
And I say, if I need to be honest, it's the fears. The fears inspire me to do this kind of path, because some situations happen to me in my life when I feel so scared to go outside and to talk and connecting with people,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, well, we say like this. Some robbers almost killed me, one time outside of Cusco. From this day, I feel really afraid to go out and be with my friends and go and party and things like this. So
yeah,
this is the point that breaking myself and guiding me more deep into spirituality.
mm-hmm.
Because before, okay, my grandma is situation, but I am I am involved like every single child, know some things, participate about some things, but don't make the choice to go really deep into it.
Right.
See? So
while you were young, you had an event where you were mugged, you almost died, and then you had so much fear from that to go outside and live a normal life. That was kind of a tipping point or a changing point for you then.
Yeah, I have fears to go out to be with my friends or go for party because this is happening.
Yeah.
And later this situation pushed me to finding a space that is more safe and secure. And it's how I found in the elders, and I'm beginning to go and listen some things
Right.
in the way of spirituality in this way, and not so much as they go for parties and celebrations,
Mm-hmm.
because I have fears that something will happen to me there.
Right. Wow. Wow. That's yeah. I mean, it totally does shift your life with something like that happens. And then, and now, I mean, you have Children of the Seven Rays and so many different, incredible things. And you also guide journeys throughout Peru. right? Which we're really fortunate. Devon's been on one on his own with you guys, and Reiko, my wife Reiko, and I, and then Dylan. We've come down, and Dylan and Devon, when they were, man, you guys were young. Actually, I got some pictures I'll throw up in a minute.
For sure.
When you were 14 or 16 or something, and went on something called Teen Journey, where Jhaimy was a guide and guided you guys through a kind of a coming of age ceremony and a passage several years back, right?
Big trek. Yeah, that was like such a life-changing event, because it's just like, and there's something about Peru, like from the minute we got there, I just like felt so connected to the land and the people, and just like these crazy overwhelming feelings of like, this is like the most beautiful place I've ever been. But there was more than that. It was like this emotion inside me that was just like, it's hard to explain, but it was so powerful, and it really it kind of shifted the rest of my life, to be completely honest. And wanting to travel more and learn about everybody's cultures, and really see how people live and what they do. And it was just,
It was actually really interesting, because you came back from Peru, and we've been really super fortunate to be able to travel to a lot of places kind of off the beaten path around the globe. And you came back from Peru I think the second time, when you guys were down there with Chip Duncan and Jhaimy and all these guys, and you did this incredible journey together. And you came back and you said to Mom and I that you guys have to go to Peru. Like, it's just something special. Something's very special about it. And I was like, well, like, really? Like, there's a lot of really cool. Devin goes, no. You have to go. You'll know what I mean when you get there. And we did. We were invited by Jhaimy to go down, and we did just a couple of years ago. And I have to agree.
Yeah, it's like I always say to the people, because many people like you feel the same. So go back to this land, and I don't know why, but it's the magnetism of the place. Something is special, And I always say, maybe it's just you go back home, or you arrive to home.
Yes.
If we believe in life, that is one possibility. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you go back home, and you arrive home and feel there, because many of the things that you see and many of the things that you feel, you already know.
Yes.
And
it's
a confirmation.
It's interesting that you say go back home. So everybody on the planet here has been dealing with this COVID thing for 14, 15 months now. And we started taking part in your fireside chats, which you did on Zoom, which was actually incredible. You'd have like 60 people from all over the world participating in these check-ins and these fireside chats. And I would never forget one of the first things you said was that COVID has forced us all to come home. And I didn't really know what that meant, but after 14 months now, I know, like it meant, come back home. And it's like, we're here and you're spending time with family and things that are really important in our lives, and not having to run and take our kids to daycare and go to the job, and where a lot of us could work from home. And it was like spending that time, which was really important. And you also said, I believe that, our children, if you had young children, in the future, they will never forget that time, that year of COVID. That was probably a very special year for them. And that whole, like you just said, coming home. And is that's still, I feel very strongly about what you said there. And I thank you for that.
No, it's not my knowledge, my bro. This is something that is coming from the ancestors. The traditions talking about this time. In the Andean traditions, we believe about the Pachacuti. And the Pacha is space and time, Kuti is come back, the return.
Right.
So my elders say to me, now is the Pachacuti arrived. And now is the time to go back home. And this is what we need to share. So it's time to return. And it's like, I see the people, humanity, and it's like something that is in my... I received this in a ceremony. It's like see the humanity walking all the way in one huge street, walking, and you see from the air, you see all the street, and it's a long path. And the question is, where are you going?
Yeah.
Right.
You see? In the middle of your path, it's a beautiful question to do. Where are you going? And the people say, I ask the question in my spiritual experience when I see these guys like walking and say, I ask the question for these guys, where are you going? And everyone is standing up and questioning and say, I don't know. So if you don't know where you're going, you're really far now. Maybe it's your time to go back home.
Mm.
So flip and return. Enjoy your journey to go back home. You know, there is waiting for you, your family, everything that need to do with home. You know, your space, your place. And sometimes we're walking in life and we don't know what is our place in life. We don't know what is our part in life, and this is because we don't feel in home. You know that this part of go back home exists is interpreted in many different ways.
Mhm.
You know, personally too, come back to your heart, be with you, be in connection with you, because every single day we are relating and in relationship with another people. We are worried for situations that is external. We are contemplating or working for things that is external, and we don't have the time to remember who we are. We don't have the time to call our names and say, "Hey, Jimmy, how are you?" You know,
Yeah.
we waiting for somebody to ask for us how you feel, how you are, you feel okay, and then maybe you pay attention and say, "Hey, how I feel." But how many times in the morning you wake up and say to yourself, "How are you? How you feel? You're okay.
Right.
You need help, Jimmy. You need help. Yeah, I need support. I need clarity. Let me help you."
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is important things that sometimes people for the day or day or for always moving outside forget to walking in.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
now is the perfect time to do this process.
Right.
You know, and I hope this process go to help humanity to change the point of view.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
To change our dream, like they
Yeah.
say, change our dream of the modern world, right?
Well, the modern world have a mission, you know.
Yeah.
I think in one way it's not possible for us demonize anything. We need to learn about everything, you know. And
Mm.
to say is the modern world and the things that we don't appreciate about this world,
Mm.
we need to learn to don't repeat these patterns. Because if you ask for the people what you like to have, or you know, people don't know. But what you don't like, there people know. So I
Right.
don't like these things because already you experience this reality. So now is an opportunity to do something different.
Mm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
nothing to fix, everything to learn. It's such
Mm.
a beautiful and simple way to interpret life.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm. We just interviewed Todd Pelly, a friend of a mutual friend of all of ours, um, a few minutes ago, and it was interesting because at the very end of our conversation, we talked about COVID and what kind of effect it had on all of us. And I said that, and Devin said that it was kind of the year of quiet. And I actually honestly think I evolved so much kind of in here in the past year than I have probably at any time in my life. And being able to learn and to get into certain routines for my health that I wouldn't necessarily do because I was so busy all the time. And like you said, by coming home, being able to kind of, come out of this actually evolved, um,
Mm.
which has been interesting. Eh? Yeah.
One
Yeah.
friend says something beautiful. He say, we go into COVID in 2020,
Yeah.
and we go out of COVID in 2030. What mean technology? in technology, the world jumping 10 years and ahead.
Yeah.
Because this reality pushed us to live in your own home and beginning to work by distance, and push me to beginning to do some kind of work by Zoom, by distance, and, and push you guys to create these beautiful things, you know. So COVID change. Now the beautiful part is to see what going to be after. So
Yes.
we beginning to move outside. Okay, now the world change. Don't go to be the same. The challenge is how humanity go to adapting herself to these new changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We learn, we really learn, or we are like we don't like to learn.
Yeah.
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 It's going to be really beautiful way to see realities now. You know, for many people, it's going to be amazing, and for another people, it's going to be really difficult.
It's going to be hard. Yeah.
And I see this part in my own work. You know, I working with people doing this kind of healing sessions and things like this, and I see the challenge of people don't know what is their own space in this reality,
Right.
okay? Because world change.
Yeah.
So humans, in a personal way, need to learn how to adapting ourselves to this new reality, this new vibration, and it's not going to be easy,
Yeah.
but going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
This is a guarantee.
Yeah, and, I mean, and also you go through history where humans are incredible at adapting. I mean, we're quite the species, and we're able to adapt, and we do adapt. And I think that we've had to adapt a lot during this past 14 months or so. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. I mean, and I think you mentioned a long time ago that was a gentle nudge on humanity to kind of get us maybe back centered or something, or and it could have been a lot worse, and we've adapted. I mean, we've come, like you said, we're waking up now in the year 2030 because things changed a lot during this year.
Very true.
I think in one hand is the main challenge for humanity now. Before this stop, because what COVID do is, and this not don't beginning now. According to the traditions, this beginning in 2012.
Yes.
When everything flipped and we changed directions. But the time of Mother Earth is not the time of humans.
No.
In the time of humans, but for us it's for years. For Mother Earth is 1 second.
Yeah.
So it's like in 2002 we need to stop, flip, and beginning to thinking to go back. This is don't go to happen in one generation. This is 2-3 generations that begin in the process to work in that. But we need to project and move this vibration, move this energy. We are in this beautiful moment that we live in this reality. The reality to stop, and is what COVID do, push us to stop, to move, and beginning to thinking what really is important for us.
Right.
In what way we really like to live. And many people, I have this couple of weeks, a lot of people around my circle passed.
Yes, I know.
And I sending a lot of blessings for this guy.
Yeah.
A lot of beautiful, but it's the same. People sometimes need to transcend this reality physically, and some people need to transcend this part spiritually. And make the choice to change, to go physically from this reality. But in whatever way, humanity go to transform her reality and his way of conscious. And we go to be different. What you say is true. We have the capacity to adapt it. But one part that is difficult is that we manipulate things to adapt it.
Okay. Yeah.
We manipulate realities to be more comfy in the way of what we try to create.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this part is over. If not, we go to destroy Mother Earth, and we go to destroy this reality in Mother Earth, and we go to destroy our reality in Mother Earth.
Right.
But we have the possibility to don't push Mother Earth and manipulate Mother Earth for that thing to us, if not for the first time. We make the choice to adapting ourselves to what is human or Mother Earth nature and human nature too. So in this way, learn from nature and beginning to finding our own nature.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a different state of consciousness.
Right.
Yeah. And it's interesting, the indigenous peoples around the world, it's like the wisdom keepers, they have so much wisdom that's been passed down for generations and generations. And I've seen, we've heard about, even here like in Canada, in northern Canada, these small indigenous villages where the elders are dying from COVID and being wiped out. And they're the wisdom keepers. They're the ones that hold the knowledge. That'll be gone forever. It could be gone forever, right? So the indigenous wisdoms that are there are extremely sacred.
One thing that is important for the people to realize in general is that now we need to, if we like to live in harmony with Mother Earth, we need to go to learn from the ones that live more in harmony with Mother Earth.
Yes.
And this means that we need to look ourselves into the indigenous people, because these guys, in one or in another way, is more connected by their own environment, their own nature.
Yes.
We live in cities, cities, and our society is really small. We don't have the way to really connect deep with what is nature and know how move ourselves inside of nature. So it's a little bit, humans sometimes have a lot of we say a lot of ego to try to go and manipulate reality and think what is my knowledge is the best. And generally it's happening with people that is in the cities, you know. I have a meeting between mining companies and indigenous people. That is organizing the Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that is came is this idea that the Pope sending the Catholics and say, okay, you need to be a little more close to indigenous people. And I say to these guys, you need to be more close to indigenous people, but not to teach. This has happened before, and it's already created all this damage.
Yeah.
You need to go close to indigenous people, but go to learn.
Yeah.
You need to learn what is the sacred knowledge that these guys holding for generations, thousands of years. And this is going to be such a beautiful medicine for the planet, not for people that live disconnecting with what is the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So, and it's something that humanity need to face, and it's not going to be easy because there's a lot of ego there.
Yeah.
But we will see. We will see what is happening. We are here trying to supporting and bring some kind of knowledge and understanding. But not everything is understanding if you don't have the capacity to feel. Your understanding always go to be limiting.
Mm-hmm.
So people need to feel the cold and with this, connecting with nature in different ways. We are with them in Coyoriti and in the glacier, and you see all the people, thousands of people, like 100,000 people go there in close to the glacier. And the people celebrate day and night music for 3 or 4 days, honoring the connection with traditionally the connection with the stars. Now the Catholics come and putting a church there. Okay, teachers there too. And we native people in the Andes, we always be, how say, accepting spiritualities. We just okay, something more to learn. You see, we don't try to find in what is right or what is wrong. Spirituality is one, and we learn from every single aspect or point of view. You know. But the beautiful part is the faith of the people. And when humans is together, of course we'll move everything. The challenge is to put synchronizing our ideas in the same direction.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm going to throw up while you guys are chatting here. I've got some pictures. Let me just see.
Oh yeah.
Oh, share screen. Here it is. Okay. Guys.
Yes. Beautiful.
Nice hat.
Thank you, my bro. Thank you.
So for our listeners here on the audio files, we just got some photographs we're putting up here with Jhaimy and Children of the Seven Rays, et cetera, and also from probably a little journey that Devin may have done here as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So and I really like this saying that you have, or the correct way to give is to give with your heart,
Right.
which you talk about quite a bit, right?
Yeah, it's the only way to give, you know. The
Yeah.
only way to give.
Yeah.
If it's not coming from your heart, it's just one object. Don't go. You don't printing anything. That's it.
Right. Yeah. And then I know we've done some sessions with you over during the COVID, which has been awesome through Zoom with a lot of people. And we talked about this quite a bit, I think, is remember who you are, where you are, and what is in your heart. And remembering who you are, that taking right back to your source. I think we went through some exercises that really kind of profoundly helped, myself deal with some things that I was dealing with over which a lot of us have issues that we have to deal with. Yeah.
One thing that is beautiful to mention there is what means remember. Remember is, and in all the different cultures, societies, remember is maybe the most powerful mantra.
Uh-huh.
You know, because we already have the connection. For this reason, we say now life put us to go back home, and the first part that you need to say is remember. Remember how to go back home. You
Right.
see? Because you need to remember what is the path to go back, and in this way remember who you are, remember what you want in your life. Everything is already there. All the knowledge, all the secret knowledge, all the secret understanding, everything that you need is already inside of you. You just need to remember. And it's something that humanity forget.
Yeah. And you say, remember your full name, remember who you are, your full name, right?
This is a medicine,
Yeah.
Remember your name is such a beautiful name.
Yeah. And then you also said, be responsible for what you create and receive it with purity and integrity, which is another beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, well, be responsible, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy to be responsible, but it's beautiful. It's always beautiful.
Yeah. And the essence of Aini, which we learned recently, is to give with passion and receive with reverence. And I really love the word reverence, which I wasn't quite sure, but it really means a lot. Like it's
It's such a beautiful part because when I learned from the spirit this part of reverence, these guys let me see first. Let me see the stars, and I am standing up in the middle of the mountains and look all the stars, and the only part that I say is wow.
Yeah.
Feel this reverence, and later when I realize I see the ocean and I say, wow, So it's this relationship that create reverence. It's amazing, and this when you have something, it's possible for you to give something, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really take notice now when I go into nature a lot, and I go hiking or mountain biking up into on the North Shore Mountains here, and there's some massive trees, and I go up and I stop, and I'm in awe, and I just say thank you, and you say anyai,
Yeah.
and just and sometimes I touch the tree, and it's just this, like, just to be conscious and aware, as opposed to hiking through the woods and just trying to get to your destination, or go riding on my mountain bike up the hill just to get to the top so I can come down. It's enjoying kind of the whole journey up and looking around us and seeing how fortunate we are to have this nature around, and give reverence to that. It's been a really powerful for me during the past year or two, because we're just so fortunate, and just to acknowledge it is yeah,
It's something that we forget, and
we do.
generally people, you see how many people of all the hundreds of people that maybe this day bike in the same mountain have
Yes.
the way to standing at one moment and touch the tree and say thank you because
Yeah.
you let me be here.
Yeah.
Okay? This is the things that humanity need to change. This is the things that humanity need to do. Imagine if everyone go unfolding a little bit one tree and say, thank you, you let me be here.
Yeah.
Our conscience go to change. The respect for nature go to transform.
Yeah.
And we don't see Mother Earth like our resources.
Yes.
So we need to take and take and take. And when it's finished, we go to another one.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I mean, it's a living, breathing organism. It's yeah. And I absolutely love this photograph. And Dev, I think you were there with Jhaimy, hey?
Yeah. No, this is such a good photo. Oh my goodness.
The artist is amazing. The guy that take the picture is
Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor Lincoln.
So it's Jhaimy. I think that's Jhaimy. It's Jhaimy looking up at the stars, and I think he's got a headlamp on too, with his hat and his poncho, and he's looking up at this crisp, like like it looks blue sky, and he's just looking up at the heavens. It's such a stunning photograph.
The beautiful part for me there is the faces in the stone, and look like a stone, but when you are there, it's the Inca walls.
Yeah, that was absolutely one of the most epic things I've ever been. It was like this kind of like crazy little staircase to get on top of this like big, like ancient freaking temple-y thing, and it's like on either side it's like 100-foot drop, and I was just like, whoa. But just being in that moment and being there, I was like, oh my gosh, there's just so much energy. It's such a powerful place to be able to step foot in, and I'm so glad I got to go there with you. And oh wow. Yeah.
And you guys were camping up there? Were you tenting it up there? Is that what you? Yeah.
Yeah, a little on the mountain on behind, kind of onto the left of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after like quite a gnarly trek in for a while. Like these guys are fine, Jhaimy, Chip, and they're all like, "Oh, we've done this tons of times." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's like a couple 100-foot drop right there. I guess we're just gonna walk along the side of this for a little bit on like this single track with a big backpack." Yeah. But
this is amazing.
Amazing. It could not be more worth it. Like than the journey, and then and of course arriving here and getting to go, and wow.
This is all these beautiful places that exist in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the middle of nowhere, but the middle of everywhere, at the same time.
That's so true. It's so true. Yeah. I had to throw one of these or a couple of these photos up. This goes back a bunch of years with you guys, right? A teen journey when you had 12 of you guys.
This is the beautiful part. The memories that I have here is how the mountains impacting all the young guys, and prepare these people to be young adults and have another understanding of reality, Right. So it's what I do personally is just facilitate the connection, but everyone have their own challenge, everyone have their own realization, everyone have their own processing in the middle of the mountain, and this is the magic part of walking. for this reason, in the Andean traditions, we do rituals like this, walking into the mountain, connecting with the spirits, see how insignificant we are in front of these huge places and mountains, and
Totally.
really a little bit to connect with what is Mother Earth and all the different manifestations of her. You know?
Yeah.
And this creates some kind of opening in your heart, and I think in one hand touch the heart of everyone in this circle.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting that in I don't probably I would say almost all indigenous cultures around the planet, there's like this coming of age ceremonies that happens, right? But in our Western world, we don't really do anything like that. And so that's why it was so cool for you guys to go and experience this with other 14 to 16-year-olds or whatever you guys were at this age.
Yeah.
And experience it together. It was, I'm sure it must have been very special.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because we don't, here in our kind of Western society, we don't really have things that are like this coming of age type journey, right? And I think this is like the first day on the trek, and it's like there's something so magical about being in this place. Like, look, we're all just like in the same tent, like, oh my God, I love you. I think we would have gotten to this part, gotten to this place if we were somewhere else in the world, but I think it would have taken a lot longer. But it's like what you're saying, Jamie, being just taken back by this environment, and then you just go right into your heart, and you're just like, oh yeah, of course I love these people, and of course I'm going to jump in this tent and I'm going to give you a big hug because I'm just a spirit, I'm just a soul floating around, and you guys are too, and we're just on this journey together. So it's such a big impact on my life doing this. Really changed a lot of things. Yeah,
And the connection, remember this night with the stars and all these beautiful things. It's amazing.
yeah.
Oh, guys.
Devin was a lot
Yeah.
skinnier back then.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry.
Look at that hair, my dudes.
Oh my God.
Look at Dylan the trucker hat. This is a wicked photo. Yeah, for those of you who can't who are just listening to this one, there's a photo on the left here with me on the right, Jamie in the middle, my brother on the other side. Yeah, I'm looking pretty skinny. Jamie, you're looking great. You're still looking fit. Dill looks like he's got some short hair trucker hat going on. This is a good one. And then on the right hand side is the whole crew at Machu Picchu for like a big group photo, and just
It's such amazing memories, the part of the jungle for me is my favorite time. The time that we say, okay, what we do? Say we need to do something like nice, like also something, and we say, well, we need to have a meeting. We need to go and processing stuff together. But it's not possible to do here in this place. The hotel is so coffee, so we organize and say, hey, talking with the hotel, and the guy say, we have another space, but it's like 20 minutes farther or 30 minutes farther, and it's like it's just one cabana, like perfect. Yeah, okay, guys. Like everyone, we say to the boys, we say, okay, we have our male energy time.
yeah.
So we go. What we go to do? I don't know. We go to explore in the jungle at night.
Yeah.
Everyone is so scared, when we go, all the faces. Like, I remember that me and Samir just look at each other.
Yeah. Keep it cool. All these youngins are freaking. We're in the boat in the middle of the night. We're just like pull up to this random type of like cabana thing. We're just like, what? What are we doing? What's going on here? Yes, it's male energy time. We're like, okay.
But it's the most beautiful and honest conversation that we have in all this.
Very true.
I think it's like a beautiful medicine for every single man in this circle.
It was just full like honesty and truth to who people were, I found, and it was just like we were all so happy to be there and so comfortable. But again, it was like that energy of the space. It was just like brought you into your heart, so you can just express in a different way that I don't think I'd ever be able to express to if you were just like, oh, here we're gonna go in Vancouver, we're gonna have a circle and we're gonna talk about our feelings. No. But
right.
and so having,
and none of you knew each other before this. You're from all over.
Yeah.
Which is really, and different ages too. You weren't all the same age. You're all different ages. Well, when would that ever happen in high school? Do you get a bunch of kids different ages get together and talk from the heart?
Exactly. Well, that's such a cool aspect that you bring up there, because it's like when you're in high school, it's like you're your grade and I hang out with my grade, and kids younger than me, no. Kids older than me, no way. But it was just such like age is such a construct of human, like it's not real. If you can talk to somebody and you have an honest conversation and be true, it's like what is age at that point? We're all just living beings on this planet. We, you know, created years and age and time, where in reality we're all just these, all these souls that are, ageless, timeless, pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
And then, yeah, okay, I had to throw this in, Jhaimy.
That's great. Jhaimy,
Yeah.
you look great. Nige, you look like,
Nada, fantastic.
I don't know what. No, Jhaimy looks good. I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to. Yeah. And then over with Reiko, we're in this. So we're in is that Tiwanaku? That was up in the mountains in an incredible spot. And
This is Tinahani.
Sorry, Tinahani. That's right, Tinahani. It was up in the middle of nowhere, but in the middle of everywhere, as Dave says. And this evening, like we had our tents all set up. Dylan was there too, and our friend Teresa from Washington. And in the middle of the night, we had this massive lightning storm and rain, and it was like the rain was coming down, and there was, I guess we were in almost like a canyon, it seemed like. And we heard this thundering water, and I thought we were going to get washed out by a flash flood. And I was looking, I came out of my tent, and I'm like, it was pitch black, and I'm like, where's Jhaimy? I had a flashlight, and there's rain coming down. I'm in my underwear, and I'm looking for Jhaimy with my flashlight, and I see his tent, and his tent is literally in the middle of a river. The river is going around his tent. And I'm like, Jhaimy, like, are you okay in there? And he's just like, I woke him up, I think. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. I said, well, there's a river.
Good,
like, your tent is in the middle of a river. And he goes, no, I'm dry. I'm fine. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
You parted the river.
Part of the Red Sea, yeah. And it's like, I hiked back up. I got one of the other guides, and we went up trying to find where the source of this, and it was coming off like 100-foot cliff and coming down in a waterfall and hitting the ground. It's exploding. Wow. Crazy noise, and then the water was flowing down kind of through our camp. and then in the morning we woke up, and there was probably half an inch of snow on our tents. And so this photograph, I think, is the next morning, I think, when the sun came up, and
after you survived.
I survived this crazy lightning storm. And
you need to imagine that is the cosmos that creates this beautiful party for us.
Absolutely.
100%.
It was incredible. And then Jhaimy threw this. I guess I was soaking wet for someone. I didn't have a shirt, so Jhaimy gave me this nano shaman t-shirt. I threw that on. And then we got back to. Oh no, I was feeling sick. We were quite high, and I was feeling sick. And Jhaimy took me to this pharmacist that had this. He says, "Oh, you need an injection." I said, "I don't need it." It was getting into my lungs, and he gave me this needle, and it was just this big, like a horse needle, right in my butt. And I started feeling better right away, like And then I think the next day, Dylan and I, we were all flying back to Canada, and we just had to get tattoos. So we went to his buddy's tattoo place, and we got tattooed. Yeah. That's kind of just epic. Incredible find yourself. Oh, I want to show this photo here. I gotta move ourselves out of the way. I just love this photograph of Jhaimy. Yeah, with great reverence, I guess, is what you would say there. I had to show some of those photos because we've had some amazing adventures together, and what you've been able to bring to our family has just been it's beyond words. Can't say anything to all of us, and the journeys, and what from going way back to teen journey to Children of the Seven Rays, and what the group does, and also your volunteer. I mean, you guys with your volunteering in Peru, helping children there, you hold a Christmas breakfast every year for the kids. I don't know if it's an orphanage or whatnot, but so
we try to supporting the community, like always.
Yeah.
It's some people that have and some people that don't have, and we try to help, and in one time, in one way, if it's possible for us to bring some kind of joy and happiness for somebody in the planet, in whatever space, in whatever place, it's maybe the medicine that we need,
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes sometimes people thinking that we help to bring just happiness and joy for some people or things that the people need. In one hand, I realize that I do this part more for me because I need to feel the happiness that is. You do this job, Mazu. You feel really happy with the moment that you give something,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this is the medicine for you. And
Yeah.
I think, and it's like this is like I like to be more in this vibration. I like to live there.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that. I think a good friend of mine, David Ash, told me, years and years ago when I was trying to find myself and I wanted to start giving, but I didn't know where to give. He said that, giving a check is great. I mean, there's so many organizations that need financial support. And he says, but giving of yourself, there's nothing quite like it. And I didn't really understand until we started stepping into that. And it's that, I mean, you give of yourself, but you get so much back. You get that, you get into that vibration, you get into that flow, you get into that. It's an incredible place to be, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it just the people that give something with no
Yeah.
transaction
Yeah.
and give something from the heart is the people that receive this medicine. You feel so happy that in one way it's addictive.
It is addictive. It is addictive. Yes, it is addictive. Yeah.
You like to feel more like this.
Yeah. And it's exactly what you're saying. It's giving from the heart. Exactly when we started this conversation, giving from the heart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if no, it's a transaction, and this is
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not always healthy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and it's really cool. So our listeners here, so Jhaimy spends a lot of his time here in Vancouver, Canada. And also his home is in Cusco in Peru. So he goes back and forth quite a bit. He does a lot of, they do a lot of work through Children of the Seven Rays, which we'll put up here after this podcast. So you can contact them. That's an incredible group of, people that are involved in Children of the Seven Rays, but also you guide journeys to Peru, and they're journeys. They're not trips. So a trip,
I prefer
it's
to call pilgrimage.
Pilgrimage. Yeah. That's yeah.
Good way.
Yeah.
It's like a go for your own transformation and your own process. It's not just a trip to go and enjoy. It's one pilgrimage when you go and transform yourself and processing some things and bring some kind of medicine for you, for your family, for your life. And I think in one hand sometimes it's like take one trip in this level of conscious is just change life. One process of change and transform your life. You never. I always say when the people arrive to Peru, I say pay attention for who you are right now, because when you go out from here, you don't go to be the same person.
Yeah, it'd be completely different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is true. It's all, our lives, we're on this path, and this is it's an incredible path, to be able to go and journey. I mean, if you can go to Peru, that's great. If you can't, I mean, that's okay too. But yeah, it's just this evolution. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very, very special. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any questions there, Dev? I know you.
No, I'm just I'm stoked to have you back on, Jhaimy, and we'll have some more conversations in the future and when things are a little different, and we'll see where you're at by then. But honestly, I think, that'll be a wrap for today. If you guys would like to know more about Jhaimy, we will put the links in the description, as my dad said, link to everything that you can definitely find out. Definitely check it out. Other than that, thank you so much for being on the show, Jhaimy. Do you have any last words for our listeners?
Um, One thing that I always love to share with people is a message that I received from the spirits, from the stones, in one temple that is called Tiwanaku in Bolivia. The stones tell me and say, sharing this message, and the message say, with no fears, look your internal world and walking with reverence and feel the power of your heart.
Mm.
You know, it's such a beautiful key for the people. You know, don't have fears, look your internal world,
Yeah.
walking with reverence and feel the power of your heart.
Mm.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Incredible.
No, that's beautiful. And I'm gonna say, as you do, it's like
We say,
Anyai. Thank you so much, Jhaimy. That was just fantastic. I just love
Thank you, my
chatting with
bro.
you.
Thank you, my bro.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful time. And thank you for the interview.
Thank
Oh,
you. Thank you
we'll
for
have
being
we'll
on.
have more.
Absolutely. Absolutely.